I've been testing both the iPhone 17 and the iPhone Air, and honestly, these two devices, not only do I love both of them, but they're just $200 apart from each other. So in this video, I want to help you decide on whether or not the iPhone 17 is the right device for you or the iPhone Air is going to be the right device for you. The very first place I want to start is with the design of both of these devices because they both look so elegant. They have such a clean and minimal design, whether it's the iPhone 17 or the iPhone Air. And you know, everybody loves the Pro iPhones, right? But here's something that nobody's mentioning about the Pro phones. They actually have an Apple logo that isn't even in the center of the body compared to the iPhone 17 and the iPhone Air. They have that typical design where you have the Apple logo at the center of the device, which to me personally looks really good. Now, regardless of which one you pick for yourself, what you're going to notice is both of these devices feel really light and they feel really good in the hand. This iPhone Air definitely takes the edge simply because, well, I mean, you can't beat physics, right? This is just so thin that this is going to feel like you're holding a display as opposed to a phone. And when it comes to, in terms of like elegance and stuff, this does have the titanium frame. And so it has a more polished and elegant look to it, whereas this has the aluminum frame with ceramic shield too on the back and on the front. But if I had to give it like a rating as to which one I would pick, I would say the more comfortable one is the iPhone Air. But did I have any issue whatsoever with the iPhone 17 when it came to actually using it? This is good in its own right. Where the main difference is going to come is in the display, and not in terms of quality, but in terms of the size of these displays. Both the iPhone 17 and the iPhone Air are equally good in terms of quality. In terms of when you're outside, they get plenty bright, and these displays, regardless of which model you get, even on the Pros, they are all the same display. And so this is a huge improvement this year, especially outdoors, even with like a matte screen protector that I have on the Air. You're not going to have any issues in terms of visibility. Where the difference comes between these two is that size. And when you look at the size on paper, 6.3 inches here, which is the same as last year's 16 Pro, and 6.5 inches here on the iPhone Air. When you look at them on paper, they don't look that much different, right? It's 0.2 inches. But when you actually hold these devices in your hand and you are looking at them, there's a huge difference. Trust me when I say, regardless of the model that you choose, whether it's the iPhone 17 or Air, it's not really going to be as much about the display because they're really beautiful, but it's going to be more so about the cameras, which I want to move to next. Now, obviously here you can see the difference visually. You can tell that the iPhone Air has a single camera and the iPhone 17 has two cameras, a wide and the ultra wide, whereas on the Air, you just get that wide lens. When you are out and about, whether it's low light or it's daylight, I don't even need to put labels on these photos. They are going to look equally good when they come out of the main wide lens. Where the difference lies with both of these devices is that ultra wide, and it depends on how much you want the ultra wide. For example, me, I've stated this in the other camera video that I did just a couple days ago, is the fact that I don't use the ultra wide, and everybody's photography, videography choices are going to be different. Your taste is your taste for a reason, right? So me personally, I like 24 millimeter, which is the lens on my camera. And then I also have this 50 millimeter lens for my camera as well. So these are the two focal lengths that I find myself using. And you can go into your iPhone library and see how many times you use the ultra wide if you're really stuck on the camera. Even when it comes to stabilization in video, both of them have sensor shift stabilization, so you're not going to have any problems with either device. It's the ultra wide that you need to worry about. And when it comes to the front camera, all the iPhones, doesn't matter 17 Air or the Pro models or the Pro Max, they all have the same front camera. You have center stage, right? So for your FaceTime calls, you can easily do like group calls. You don't got to do that one like switching from person to person thing when you do the FaceTime calls and stuff, right? So don't worry about the front camera or the wide camera. Make the decision on the ultra wide. Whether you need it or not, it's ultimately up to you. Now, next, I want to move to battery life, which on paper, if you look at the iPhone 17, it's like 3,800 some milliamps. I'll put the exact numbers on the screen for both of these devices. I'm not really about numbers. I'm doing all this based on experience and my performance on a day-to-day basis. And with the iPhone 17, you have a higher milliamp count compared to the iPhone Air. But what the iPhone Air, how it's making up for all of that is with all the efficiency of other things like the A19 Pro chip. The A19 Pro chip is not in this device so you can sit on here and play games for 5 hours. This is not a gamer's device. The A19 Pro is in here due to its power efficiency. And we'll get to the performance in a second, but I'm only bringing it up because that's relevant here in terms of the phone being more efficient. Inside here, you also have a different cellular modem, which is the C1X. The C1 was the modem in the iPhone 16e, and something I mentioned about the iPhone 16e is that when you are out and about, you will notice the difference when you use this phone on a cellular level compared to when you're on Wi-Fi. It's not going to drain as fast. And same is the case with the iPhone Air. And then lastly, you also have the N1 chip in here, which is responsible for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, AirDrop. So where the milliamps are not the same, the iPhone Air is making up for in efficiency. So hopefully that makes sense to you. And if I had to pick like, oh, which phone's going to get me through my day, both of these equally get me through the day without any issues whatsoever. Now, just for the sake of showing you, I'm going to show you my battery for today on the Air because that's my personal choice, right? So that's why I have my SIM in. I use the 80% charge limit, which is something I suggest that you use on your device as well. My device came off the charger at 6:29 a.m., okay? And I'm showing this on camera because for all the naysayers out there that want to say that the iPhone Air doesn't have good battery life and stuff, right? Now, if we go into my screen time real quick, I'm going to show you everything I've been doing today. So 2 hours and 8 minutes of screen on time. And this involved YouTube for 22 minutes, YouTube Studio for answering all your comments, 22 minutes, WhatsApp. This is usually like voice messages and stuff for me because I talk with my suppliers. Then email, photos, messages. And then I also had a 30-minute call with my sister on speakerphone while I was actually taking a bunch of photos with all these different devices. So I have only lost 24% of battery from that 80% limit. And I started the day at 6:29 and right now it is 12:25 p.m. on a Saturday. Okay? So now if I keep going like this throughout my day, I'm going to be totally fine. And let's say when you do get down to the 20 or 30% mark, I like to charge at 30%. Obviously, you have your days where you're not going to be able to, right? How hard is it to plug in a device and wait 20 minutes? Whether you have the iPhone 17, okay, or the iPhone Air, plugging in one of these devices for 20 to 25 minutes and you are back up to that 80% limit. I mean, it's so easy to do that. Now, if you are looking at strictly battery life as being one of the big things that is a concern for you, I would really suggest go for the Pro model. These are thicker, heavier, because they're packing more battery, because they also have a lot of Pro features that require more battery to power them. So if even if you're not using the Pro features and you're like, I need really good battery life, go to this because these don't drain as fast. Like on this Pro that I'm now testing, is like I can get through a day very easily and be at like 50%. So that's really good. key difference I'm really sure you're curious about is the speaker on these devices, because that is a difference. The iPhone Air has a mono single speaker up at the top, and then the iPhone 17 has your typical two speakers that you'll see in all other iPhones. Now, regardless of which one you choose here, if you're really looking for the best stereo speakers in any iPhone, that's going to be on the Pro models. But when it came to these two devices, whether I was using the iPhone 17 or whether I was using the iPhone Air, I didn't have any trouble. I'll put a speaker test of both of these devices so you can make a decision for yourself. But none of them are hard for me to hear. That would have been one big thing that I would have considered when it came to the iPhone Air. But to be very honest with you, what I like to do is use headphones. So I'm always using headphones with my iPhones, regardless of what phones I've had in the past. Publicly, I'm not really using the speaker, and when I do, it's for like WhatsApp audio notes. It's sometimes for podcasts, sometimes for YouTube videos. So just your day to day things. And on either device, yes, the 17 is going to have a louder speaker because there's two. That's just physics. But do I have trouble here on the iPhone Air, and would I let that be a reason to not buy the iPhone Air? Absolutely not. I think it's just been made too big of a deal, but that's just me. Now, the last thing I want to discuss is the performance on both of these devices. Here in the iPhone 17, you have the A19 chip. In the iPhone Air, you have the A19 Pro. The only reason I mentioned that is because that's the difference. But when it comes to performance, both of them are really good. These are made for everyday users, both of these devices. And when it comes to whether you're texting, whether you're playing games for a little bit, whether you're using the camera, right? Both of these phones are really good at doing that. And you are not going to have a single issue. Not once did I notice the iPhone 17 stutter. Not once have I noticed the iPhone Air stutter. Both of them do a great job every single day. And if I had to pick only based on a performance point of view, I would pick either of these devices. You hand me either of these devices, and I'm going to be happy. So I wouldn't let that be a deciding factor between which device you go for. Now, real quickly, I just want to say if you want to support me and this channel directly, I have a bunch of products, whether it's this GAN Powercube charger, or it's my Qi2 car mount, or my Magsafe 3-in-1 charger. If you buy one of these products, it's going to help support me and get me out of my daytime job. It's currently right now Saturday, September 27th, 12:41 p.m. and I'm recording this review for you guys simply because I love this and I would love to do this even more. I'd just love to leave my job and just be able to do this. I do it with all my honesty and all my heart. And you are at the core of my priorities when it comes to these videos. I want you to make a good decision. So if you can help support me in any way, I would really appreciate it. I will leave the items link down below. So then what should be your deciding factor if you're looking at the iPhone 17 or the iPhone Air? And this is where I'm going to bring up the price. This is $799. This is $999. There's a $200 difference between the two models. And that is the first thing I want you to take a look at because nothing's more important than affordability. Don't just go out and buy this because you want the new iPhone Air or whatever, right? Don't ever get caught up in those things. It's just going to cause you pain. Buy whatever is affordable for you because the iPhone 17, even though it is priced cheaper, it is giving you so much at this base level, along with the next major key difference, which is the ultra wide camera. If the ultra wide is important to you, you don't need to even look at the iPhone Air. You simply go out and buy, once again, the iPhone 17. Now, when it comes to just the design and the feel and everything, like I said, the edge is always going to be with the iPhone Air. I think that if anyone stays with this device for 2 weeks, it is very hard to switch to anything else. Like the iPhone 17 Pro, for example, feels like a brick. compared to the iPhone Air. Like literally, they feel so heavy. These two, at least like in terms of weight, there is a difference between the two, obviously, but they still retain a good feel in the hand. This one just has the edge because obviously it's so thin. And the very last key factor that you should be considering is that screen size. Again, on paper, it might not look that different, but 6.3 to 6.5 in person looks really different. For me, why I chose the iPhone Air over the 17 is simple because I don't use the ultra wide. And then I have been the consumer that's had to always buy the smaller phones because anytime I wanted a bigger display, it was just too heavy. I get pain right here in this area of my hand. I've been using the iPhone 17 Pro for a couple of days and that pain has come back. I don't feel that with this. I did not feel that with the iPhone 17. Both of these are very comfortable. But for me, the overall, the design, the elegance, the feel, the single good camera, the performance, like everything checks out for me with the iPhone Air, even though it is priced $200 more. It's all going to come down to all of these things and which of these things are more relevant because that's what it's about at the end of the day. Picking a device that is going to suit you and only you. So make sure that is always a priority. I really hope that you found value in this video. If you did, all I ask of you is to give me a thumbs up. Comment down below if you have any more questions. If there's something else that you feel like you need to know to make that final decision, I will help you out the best way I can so you can come to a resolution as to which device is right for you. And most importantly, like always, take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.